Alright, welcome back to You Fantasy Football. Today I want to talk about three things. Um, First one is Brett Favre. Don't get overexcited about Brett Favre. Um, while he did have a good season last year, he's had a lot going on this offseason, and a lot of people are going to be drafting him just because there's a lot of Brett Favre fans out there, and they're going to draft him early. And I really don't think he's that early of a draft pick. Now the Jets have some talent at wide receiver, but I don't know how much a 38-year-old Brett Favre is going to improve um, their receivers. I know their offensive line is improved with Alan Faneca, and Thomas Jones is expected to do better. But I think you have to temper your excitement with Brett Favre. He is on the Jets. They're still um, they're still a work in progress. They're not going to be a great offense. I think Brett Favre could get you mediocre numbers, maybe 24 touchdowns. There'll probably be a lot of interceptions with him learning the offense and learning the receivers. So probably about 20 interceptions for Brett Favre. With a decent amount of yardage, I would say like 3,800, 3,700 in that range. But it could also get worse, and it could get ugly if the Jets don't mesh and they start going up against some harder defenses. It could get ugly for Brett Favre. So don't get too Brett Favre happy in your draft and go ahead and pick him in the 8th round or anything. Don't do that. To me, he's still a 11th round, 12th round pick, something like that. Now, if you had your draft early and you took a late 15th round flyer, good for you. You got a starting quarterback in the NFL, but for right now, don't draft Brett Favre too high. Second thing, and this is totally unrelated. This is just a little bit of auction advice. I'm in an auction draft right now, and there's a lot more to this than being an auction. It's a keeper league, and there's restricted free agents. It's salary, and I can't even. I mean, most dynamic league I've played in by far. But one thing I'm noticing for sure in this league is that you want to put your auction bids in early. If you don't, you're going to end up fighting for the scraps. And not to say that the scraps are like bad players, but the good players are going to get really overvalued in comparison to the good players early. But later on in the draft, when more of the good players are off the board, it starts becoming a fight to get that last good player. So you want to get your draft bids in early and get those guys and get it over with. Get them on your roster. You do not want to wait around and have to be fighting for those last players, because you're going to end up in a bidding war, and you're going to pay much more than you had if you would have locked them up early. And the third thing I want to mention, which is related to the first topic but still pretty unrelated, is David Clowney. Now, let me take a step back and put this in a deeper scope. We're talking preseason football, and we're trying to apply it to fantasy football. Now, you have to keep in mind that these things do not translate one-to-one in the regular season. But what you do in fantasy football, in preseason football, is you look, you scout, you see who's making waves, you see who got in shape this off season. You see who's the talk of the camps and who's converting that talk, and who's getting injured and stuff like that. And you look for potential. You look for late round picks, and I think the Jets may have one with David Clowney, and he's the reason I rated Brett Favre as high as I did. He got 2 passes and just blew by the Cleveland Browns secondary. Now, the Cleveland Browns secondary is no, they're not the best corners and safeties out there, but he still looked really good. He looked really fast, and he ran his routes well. So with an aging Lavernius Coles and Jericho Cotchery there to give him a little bit of space, I think David Clowney might make a nice pick late in the draft. Now, don't go out and get him in the 10th round. But if you can get him in the 13th round, the 14th round, the 15th round, those twilight rounds, go for it. He's probably worth the chance. This is You Fantasy Football.